Hey guys, here is my review of Iron Man micro mugs. Now, these the mugs series has been around for a while, I guess. And Mighty mugs have three different sizes. Now, there's a large one, which unfortunately, oh, you know what? Actually, I have it. Let me go reach for one. You can't see it. You can't see me reaching, but I am. So, and that is pleasantly too large for this camera to fit in. So here's the original size of the micro mugs, which is pretty large if you look at my hand size. You know what? This kind of falls into the grouping of toys that I didn't really appreciate. Was this final rage that happened over here in America, where you get a lot of figures using the same base sculpt, and you just have different paint apps. Now, I'm not a big fan of it, but I mean, I love Iron Man, so the minute the Iron Man came out, that's the one I was sure to buy. Now, I mean, not only was this thing, using the same base sculpt, although I know some figures had like different heads, or because they needed it. Let's say if they made a Yoda, they wanted the ears, for example. Not 100% sure of that, but I think some of them came with weapons at some point. Now, when you look at this, it's so it's so plain, and there are details on it, but these are really simplistic, basic details. Which is why when they had introduced the smaller version of that, I was actually really happy. But then there was a huge downgrade in the amount of detail, despite the fact that you really think that they could have put more detail into it. So, this is also coming from a New Yorker who lives in a small apartment, where space is a premium here, and so for a little $10 figure, you can't really afford to waste it taking up this much shelf space, where you can put normally 4 or 5 books there, or or a more detailed action figure. Whereas, like I said, this one comfortably sits, let's say, next to your monitor, or on a much smaller shelf. Anyhow, so this one is the original one. I believe this might have been called Mini Mugs. Someone's going to correct me. I'm sure of it. But now they've gone even smaller to go into Micro Mugs. Now this, I think, is a great size for them. And was really excited to see the size. Unfortunately, I was not so happy to see the price. Look, the local Toys R Us here, because I'm in New York, is the flagship store up at Times Square. So everything's like $1 or $2 more expensive. And this Iron Man figure was $5, which, for like $59 or something, but you add in tax, roughly $5. Let's not make a big deal out of it. So, how many did I buy? There's the 4. There are apparently 24 to collect. Lots of differently painted ones, and so let's sweep these guys out of the way and begin the opening process. You know what? A lot of times I like to keep the box in nice condition. They've tried so hard. Let's see if I can... Nope, not gonna happen. I was hoping just to peel the bottom off gently. This box is ruined, so we're just gonna do that crushing method. Oh, you know what? Let's talk about which one I want here. Let's see what variations we got. There's the I believe this is space armor. I believe this might be the Extremis. This is one of the Robo baddies from Iron Man 2. Tony Stark. We've got Night version, or pre-War Machine War Machine. There's Desert camo version, I guess. Ice camo version. Maybe this is Extremis. Centurion armor, maybe it's kind of silverish. Spacer armor. Tony Stark with his mask off. Blue version. Mark 1. Mark 2. Mark something. Spacey version. Iron Patriot. The thingamajigs. Something or other. Blue. Whiplash? Yeah. Alright, so let's see which one I want. Well, we've really gotten a clue. I got a silver base, so chances are I got one of the silvery ones. Well, now, I wouldn't mind getting a War Machine. getting a Patriot, getting a Tony Stark, and then one of his newer armors, maybe. I think this is the extremist one. So, you know what, let's go for, I don't know, whatever, who cares, I don't care anymore. Let's do this. Oh, it comes with a base now, that's interesting, and, wow, this figure is underwhelming. Jesus Christ. It's got a flat back of the head. It says Iron Man on it. Oh, Jesus Christ. It says Iron Man. Wow, this is lame. There's absolutely no paint applications going to the back of the figure, and so all of it's going to be at the front. I believe this is the shield symbol, so this is a shield issued Iron Man. But boy, I mean, you know, going from the original details here, where there was like, you know, dramatic shading, paint apps that surrounded the leg, and all the, you know, there's the back and everything, and lines and things that gave it detail, went downwards to this where it's like 4 color splashes and kind of the general idea without any of the lines. And unfortunately, when you have an armor like Iron Man's, these lines, I think, design-wise, are huge. They're like a part that denotes each shell, or each, you know, I guess you could even say like a movement point, like the point where one piece of armor is separated from another. So here you can see that if imaginary Mighty Mug Iron Man were to bend, this would be one portion that would bend, here would be another, and then all of this here would allow him to kind of like bend forward. You know, which was, you know, lost here because now it just looks like one giant piece. And just, this is even worse. Wow, this is not worth the $5 at all. This is an ugly figure. It's not even the roundish proportions of the traditional mugs where everything was kind of bulbous. Here it's just kind of like, I don't know, like a Powerpuff Girl kind of cheap ass, and then the back of the head can't even be round. It has to be flat just because they want to put Iron Man on it. As if I didn't know that I was buying an Iron Man figure. You know, when I had this on my shelf, I'm gonna be like, gee, I wonder what this is. I should turn it around and hope for a fat, flat back of the head. Now I remember this is an Iron Man toy. And it, you know what? And worst of all, it comes with this just dumb base. I understand that they didn't want these figures to be able to fall over easily, but it just looks ugly. Boy, I'm not looking forward to opening the next one, so I'm just gonna crush it open like, oh, like Popeye. Yeah, this is the way to open figures. Look at that. I'm awesome. There we go. What ugly figure am I gonna get? I feel angry already. Ah, here's Purpley. It's Purpley. It's got 3 details on it, not including the face. Nothing moves. Flat back of the head. Open this one like Popeye again. This is actually kind of. All right. I was lucky the first time, I guess. These are really dumb figures. Oh, okay. I got my dream. Alright. Sorry about that. My recorder actually ran out of batteries in the middle of the last review when I had just opened my 3rd box of Iron Man Mighty Mugs, where I had said that I got my dream of getting a Tony Stark figure. You know. Unfortunately, this series sucks. So there you have it. Sorry. Another thing I wanted to point out was the difference between you know, the mini mugs and these micro mugs is not only are the head less bulbous. I just noticed this as I was charging up the camera again. Was obviously there's a flat back, but also there's this kind of like really lame kind of disc. So his face is sort of like a disc, and I thought it might have been just Tony Stark, but no, it's everybody. They all have this kind of disc's face, which I think is ugly. And you know, these are kind of flatter than the normal 2 mugs. Maybe they should have named it differently then. Just a thought. So here with Tony Stark, he doesn't even have a mouth. He has a goatee and a beard, no nose. There's some hair sticking out there. There's some line detail on his chest, but it's really not that much. I mean, even the arc reactor area is not detailed at all. And then, you know, there's just, you know, and here's another stupid thing. You can tell exactly where the paint app for these guys stop. It just stops awkwardly mid-hand. I mean, well, that is to say that the front hand, the front portion of his arm has it, and the back portion does not. So there was, you know, there's no details on these two guys, so it doesn't stick out, but on this one it does. So that makes these even more annoying. Here's my final box of the most disappointing thing of my day. Let's see here. And it's an Iron Man of some denomination. Now, you know, here's actually another annoying thing, is that these figures, despite being produced by Hasbro, and generally these blind boxes usually have a you know, have a little insert that tells you, oh, you know, collect the rest of these figures, gives them a name, gives them a rarity, gives them a set amount of what you can get in a box, like 1 out of 24 packages, or you know 1 out of 48, or whatever it is. So they don't have any of that, which might assume that each of these were packaged 1 very evenly, or 2 not evenly, and they don't care of telling you. And so here's Iron Man, a form of Iron Man. It might be the newer Iron Man armor, because I see a little bit more silver. But, you know, awkwardly enough, this gold is actually kind of like a greenish gold, which is kind of very unattractive. I'm not sure whether it's just maybe the lighting, or maybe the combination of the silver over the red made it look greenish somehow. Or, let's see if we can compare. I don't know if that's really a good comparison, as you can see, but this gold is kind of more gold than this gold. Yeah, so there you have it. Extremely disappointing Hasbro Micro Mugs figures. Just kind of stand there and be stupid. Also, you know, this is another thing. The reason why I hate these vinyl figures is that, you know, they're all the same pose, and so, you know, even if you line them up, you know, even if these were painted better or more attractive, just it, you know, it just looks lazy. You look at it and you're like, well, you know, whatever. And this is in comparison to the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger figures that I had bought from blind boxes in the past, and mind you, these were the exact same price. These Mighty Morphin Power Ranger ones, Megaforce, I should say, were maybe even 50 cents to $1 cheaper. And look at the amount of detail that it has. I mean, and with Iron Man, the thing about it is that his iron armor is just so similar that they could have simply repainted it and it would have looked nice. But these guys went out of their way with Saban's property and, you know, sculpted each and every one uniquely, you know? And so, if you're going to spend $4 or $5, you know, what would you spend it on? This thing, which is limited paint apps, crappy quality. This, I don't think this even glows in the dark, even though that's something that they didn't mention and I've just made up now. But that's a quality I would have, you know, which would have made this a little bit more interesting compared to this, with a whole bunch of paint apps stretching all the way to the back. You know, his detailed helmet. You know, whatever, man. Whatever, Hasbro. Disappointed me again. I hate you.